I don't want to be on ZBC. I have other platforms. But it's my right as a citizen to also share on a marketplace of ideas, my ideas. They always speak on my behalf. Why don't you give me the opportunity? If you want, I'm inviting Mr. Mnangagwa on a live television debate. I know that he will not campaign thereafter, because I will just reduce him to mincemeat, intellectual and even on ideas. Because I have a clear and a solid plan, a new Great Zimbabwe plan for Zimbabwe, which is going to develop our country. Now they are celebrating opening of supermarkets, opening of service stations, and making a narrow lane to Masvingo, and they say we've done very well. That's not infrastructure. You want to claim the parliament that was built by Mugabe, that's not infrastructure. Please don't go and claim other people's children and then claim you have a big family. Start your own. We want to see what you are able to do. We have not shown anything. You have squandered your time. They said, let's give ED a chance. There is no chance. You know, he has squandered all the opportunities. They say, no, it's good for business. Business is in tatters. He said, no guys with business. And we told business that we are the best deal for business because we provide that conducive environment for them to do business, and we will not have politicians putting their fingers in the pie of business. And that is our offer and our sell. But in terms of what has to be done, I told you that we have a raft of measures that we are implementing to make sure that the elections are done. It's not about ZANU-PF, it's about all of us, because elections do not belong to a political party, they belong to the citizens of Zimbabwe. Where there's will, there's a way. We've done it before. You know, it's just a question of people sitting, agreeing, so that we don't have a disputed election. We've called it PREPARE, which is an acronym for Pre-Election Pact on Electoral Reforms, so that we agree on a pre-election and a post-election environment. What happens in the announcement of election? What happens on the one who would have managed to win, and the one who would have managed to allow the one to win to also be seen, to play a role, so that we have one nation, one people, and one vision. That can only be a product of a conversation. Nations are built by dialogue and a conversation. Nations are not built by violence, they are not built by these attacks of arrogance, trying to kill people. You end up with a symmetry and not a nation. And we have put on the table that Mr. Mnangagwa and ZANU-PF, let us agree on the nature of the pitch and the stadium we are going to play on. The playing field must be what we agree on. If you then do not want to agree, we will find ways of making you see the logic and agree with us. 7 critical issues. The right to vote is fundamental. We want every Zimbabwean above the age of 18 must find it easy to register to vote. Right now, they've been suppressing the voting and registration of voting in urban areas, or areas that they perceive to be CCC strongholds. Unfortunately, rural areas are our strongholds, and that's where they've been using party structures and using crowheads and villages to go and register for voting. And I can tell you that we are everywhere as a citizen movement. So the right to vote is critical, including the diaspora vote. I saw in Angola recently, for the first time, Angolans in diaspora voted. In Kenya, diaspora vote was there. We want a diaspora vote in this country because it is part of the SADC protocols. It is also part of even our constitution. The right to vote. There can't be taxation without representation. Yet, we gain a lot of money from the diasporans who are doing a fantastic job, and I want to thank those in the diaspora for the wonderful job they are doing at a family level, in various communities, and even nationally. They continue to pivot our country forward. We want to thank them, but they have to be given the right to vote. You can't get their money when you are also not giving them their rights. They have to have their rights. The issue of real-time announcement of votes. We don't want this meticulous verification business. Votes must be on a public domain, real-time, and announced so that we all know. That's why in Kenya right now, of course, they have their dispute. But at least people know the outcome because it was being posted on a public domain. Even the press had quite access into the process. That is what we are pushing. Number 3, we want to make sure that the voters' roll is audited and auditable in terms of the constitution. Let there be an audit by audit firms of the voters' roll so that we are happy that the voters' roll is clean and credible. And once it is like that, we know that the syllabus is what we are agreeing on. That is what we want to see happen. Of course, the security of the voter is critical in the rural areas, and the security of the vote in terms of making sure that ballot papers, where they are printed, we know them, and we have identified all this. The issue of the media, the security of journalists, is also one critical issue. But also the ability. Claiming the win does not mean killing people. Claiming the win does not mean walking on dead bodies. Claiming the win does not even mean some of the things that I hear people talking about. You know, we know what we are doing, and you will see that is going to work. We are clear about the route that we have taken. But trust the process. Trust the vision. Trust the leadership. If you doubt our leadership, you always judge us at the appropriate time. Don't force us or harass into things. Don't harass us when we give you proper direction or when we take certain steps. We know much more about what's happening across the other side. And we know how the other side is so desperate to capitalize on our weakness to then count on violence. So we will not countenance violence. Violence is not part of our DNA. Peace is our language. Peace is our nature. And peace is our next foot forward for Zimbabwe. And we are going to claim our victory. Mark my words. In the past, we would win elections, but not transfer power. Now we are focusing on not just transferring power. Already the inauguration plan is in place. We are ready about what we are doing. Nobody has the monopoly of state institutions. And also nobody has the monopoly of being foolishness and reckless. We can make sure that we democratize that monopoly. And by the way, it's not a threat, it's a promise. So we'll make sure that we do everything within our power to give Zimbabweans a fighting chance for them to be able to express themselves. We have to make sure that we exercise all the available options for us to have peace in this country. Peace is very expensive, and we have taken the peace high road because we want this country to maintain and to be in peace. ZANU-PF love violence. Their DNA is violent. They don't believe in independence. ZANU-PF people don't believe in freedom. They don't believe in peace. They don't believe in the sovereignty of the people. That's why they commandeer people. One man, one vote is not about one sabuk, one vote for the village. No. The commandeer and the sabuks, village heads, are telling us that we are in trouble. We don't even know how to live. We have been threatened, we have been promised things that if we don't toe the line, we are in trouble. That must stop, and that is what we are fighting. I think the assurances must come from ZANU-PF, particularly from Mr. Mnangagwa. You know that I am also equally a victim. I've been a victim of assassination attempts in Utare. I've been a victim of attacks on my team and our convoy. The citizens have been victims. You know that everywhere I go, people are getting beaten up. There's a reason why they are doing that. They are scared of free flow of information. So journalists are endangered species in Zimbabwe on account of your ability to tell truth to power, on account of your ability to share information of what is happening. That's why journalists were attacked. I was so pained when I saw 3 journalists by the roadside, you know, because they'd been beaten up. I was really pained. And one of them was injured. I think he lost about 2 teeth, you know. It tells me that it's so sad. And the reason why they were beaten, they were taking pictures. But they were actually covering both, because ZANU-PF had come to hold their rallies right close to us. What was so pleasing was that ZANU-PF's rally was about 100 and 150 people. The CCC rally was about 5,000 people. And I loved it, because it was actually an election before an election. Any other result from Gogwe Kabine that does not produce an electoral victory by the citizens and the CCC is a manipulation of the will of the people. I can tell you, I've seen it. I listened to business people, key opinion leaders. They believe in change and they're supporting change. So yes, I hear you, what you are saying. I totally sympathize with those journalists and with you, because you are endangered species. There's no guarantee, it's not just journalists. Every citizen is under attack. Church leaders are under attack if they don't agree with the incumbent. Young people are under attack. Students are under attack. You know, civil society is under attack. Look at Masarawe, how he has been persecuted, the leader of the Rural Teachers Union. there is just an attack. Journalists are under attack. Everyone is under attack. Political leaders are under attack. Look at Job Scala and the other 15, still included, our MPs. They are in incarceration. On what account? They are just alleged. An allegation is not a conviction. They have a right to bail. Scala has not committed any offense. Still, did not commit any offense. In fact, the majority of those people in Yatsimi have not committed any offense. They are actually the victims who have now been turned into perpetrators, and they are now being locked up. Almost 73 days, okay, in prison. Detention without trial was not even like this during Smith. What we are seeing is worse than what we have seen in this country, even during the Rhodesian regime. So I'm extremely concerned about this. I've tried to reach out to Mnangagwa to say, you can't behave like this, play fair and square. And then we beat you fair and square. If you beat us, we will celebrate you. But if you play like this, we will remain peaceful, but we will not give you the victory. And we will deny you in an attempt to manipulate the people of Zimbabwe. So yes, I can't guarantee the safety of journalists as they do their job. But as at our meetings, yes, we try. We always provide safety. But I can tell you that the situation in the country is very depressing, and we are worried. We are all being treated like banned people. Yet CCC is legislating and making laws in Parliament. We are even giving Mr. Mnangagwa water. The water he's drinking is courtesy of the leaders who are in our local authorities. But alas, they treat us like a terrorist organization. They are asking for our structures. Why do you want our structures? We have not asked for yours. Why are you so generous to want us to be so structured so that we defeat you? We want to defeat you structurally. Without any structure, we will defeat you. Our structure is known by ourselves and will not be commandeered into doing what you want us to do. We are a citizen movement.
I'm a king, yes, I'm a king, I'm a king,